First of all, I want to congratulate the organizers of the Athens Defense Summit. I think it's very important that we do this event in Athens and during this particular period. Even though usually I address in the Greek language, since the audience is more international, I will address in the English language today in order what I have to say to be heard loud and clear. It's a great honor for me being here because it gives me the opportunity to make some very clear statements about what I believe about the presence and the future of the West. First of all, we have to acknowledge that the pressure President Trump is giving to European Union and European states to increase the defense budgets and decide to build real strong army forces is totally right. Sometimes people can misunderstand his way he's saying things, but he's usually right in what he says. And in particular, for many decades, the people in Europe thought that freedom is for free. Since I see His Excellency the Ambassador of Israel there, which I really like him very much beyond of the official things, I have to say that people of Israel know very well that freedom is not for free. Freedom is a very important, maybe the most important value in our life, and anything that is important is expensive. And this is what freedom is. Freedom is expensive and needs sacrifices. For many decades, European nations didn't want to make any sacrifice for their freedom. Now, they have to wake up, take their own responsibility, and restructure their societies. If they will not do that, the future will not be very comfortable for European nations. I'm sure that at the end, Europe will do what she has to do. She will wake up and she will establish strong army forces to their European nations. Second, even though the war in Iran has made a lot of turbulence in Western economies, especially because of the oil prices and the inflation that came, and all the negative news that this inflation brings, I have to say publicly that I think the war is right. And I will explain you why. Iran proved during this conflict that they had made a huge progress in their ballistic program. They managed even to hit thousands of miles away from Iran. And the idea that this regime with this ballistic program could purchase nuclear weapons, it's a real nightmare for any reasonable person in the West. I tend to believe that this war should have been much faster, and we were late because we let them grow much stronger than many people believed in the beginning. And there would be a real threat to our values, to our way of life, and to our democracies. Having said that, I believe that at the end the West will prevail, and we will find a way out to help the people of Iran. Iran has marvelous people with a great civilization, with a huge history. They own our respect, and if we manage to help them find a better future, this will be better for all of us. But with this regime, this kind of weapons are a big threat not only to Israel, but to anybody. Third, we have to acknowledge, and this is not a very popular statement in the Western societies, mostly because of the ideological superiority in some of our societies from the far left, or because of the noise they do. They produce more noise than the real power in our societies. that Israel is not fighting a war only for Israel. Israel fights a war for the West. And I have to say that Israel has done all the difficult job for us in the Middle East and around, and managed to secure by destroying Hezbollah, or by destroying Hamas, or by helping the change of regime in Syria, or now with a war in Iran, or in Somalia, or Yemen. The Israeli people help all of the people of the West to have a more peaceful future. And this is something we have to acknowledge to the great people of Israel, even though they take a lot of negativity, criticism around our society from people that they really don't realize the level of the threats that Israel has to deal with. And I have to say that I'm a little bit shocked that the terrible terrorist attack on the 7th of October didn't manage to awake people from the level of brutality that we saw that happened in Israel during this attack, and didn't help them to realize that dealing with organizations as Hamas or Hezbollah is a very dangerous thing for our societies. For many years, the propaganda from these organizations was very strong. I have to say that they were very clever in the propaganda war. Sorry to say, Your Excellency, more clever than Israel, to be honest. But we have to give a fight. It will not be an easy fight to our societies. I try to do it almost every day, to explain to our people that Israel fought a war in Gaza with the most humanitarian way it could do it in the circumstances of this war. I know many people will be very furious about my statement, but I have to be very honest. I just followed what the protocol of the IDF was there. They were always trying to alarm civilians that there's going to be a strike, evacuate the neighborhoods, try to prevent casualties of war from people that are unarmed. And the reason there were so many casualties that nobody of us is happy, and all these victims that nobody of us is happy, and it was a very ugly story, was mostly happening because Hamas was using its own population as a human shield. And we haven't fight publicly the unethical, the disgusting way of fighting, using your own population as a human shield just to increase the level of pain that you produce to your enemy, in this case, the State of Israel. Many people in the West haven't realized this reality, and the people of Israel haven't managed a way to explain to the rest of humanity what they were really fighting and what they were really doing there. So, in conclusion, the people of the West has to be united in these threats. These threats are beyond our political difference in our societies, are threats that could destroy our whole system of value and civilization. And when you have this kind of level of threat, it's better fighting earlier and faster than later. If you just wait, the expense will be much higher. So, I'm very proud that during this difficult period, the Greek Republic was in the right side of history, and we helped our allies to fight our own war. I'm proud that the Greek government, during this period, not easy, it was not easy, it was difficult, but we were strong in order to stand for our beliefs, for our national interest, and for the interest of the West, because our national interest is the interest of the West. We are a part of the West. And Israel in the Middle East is the West in the Middle East. And we have must never forget that. Thank you very much.